Flint is going to be electing or re-electing a mayor pretty soon, and of course we have Mayor Walling, who has made some very serious cuts, and a lot of people are angry about that. He cut the police department in recent years, and we've had more homicides last year than we've ever had. A lot of people blame him for that. But I would point out that just because there's a correlation, less police officers, more murders, that doesn't necessarily mean there's a causation. There's a difference there. Correlation is just a relationship between two variables. When one goes up, another one goes down. Causation is when one variable causes activity in another variable, when A causes B to go down. Now, you can have a correlation, A goes up and B goes down, without having causation, because you may have a third variable. Maybe C is what's making variable A go up and variable B go down. For example, you may have less cops and more homicides. You know, is the problem really that you have less cops, or is it the third variable, economic opportunities? Maybe if you have less economic opportunities, you may have less jobs and therefore more crime, more economic and even domestic violence and crimes of passion, more violence. Maybe the key is really economic opportunity. There's been a decrease in the economic opportunity in recent years, and the cities always had a problem with violence ever since the decline of GM and the auto industry. Once GM left and a lot of these automotive jobs and factory jobs left, and the city experienced an economic decline and experienced a high level of crime. So maybe that's really the key. I don't know if it's just less cops or maybe it's just less economic opportunities. Because with more economic opportunities, I think you're going to have more jobs. And with more jobs, you may have less crime. And of course, with more jobs, you're going to have more people paying taxes. A larger tax base, of course, means the government will spend more. And that includes, of course, hiring police officers and just about everything else. So you can find all kinds of correlations. That doesn't mean that one thing is causing the other. Now the question is, should we blame Walling? Well, I'll leave that up to you guys. I'll leave that up to the citizens of Flint. People talking about Flint becoming a college town. Well, we're not going to be much of a college town if we remain the most dangerous city in the country. Now, people aren't going to want to send their kids to a really dangerous town. And that's just, the middle class, they're not going to really be into that at all. I mean, that's common sense right there. So should we blame this one mayor? Flint's had a long history of bad mayors. Okay, people who are corrupt and dishonest. This is the first mayor who's really spoken realistically about cutting, spending here and there, and actually trying to balance the budget. Of course, it's painful, but I don't know what the other candidates are going to do, because the money really isn't there. The tax base is actually getting smaller. You have a situation where there's people leaving the city. So realistically, what are the other candidates going to do? I think Bernard or Buchanan or whatever his name is, Darryl Buchanan, a black dude running for mayor. And yes, race does matter, because 50 to 55% of the city is black, 40% is white, and the rest are, well, whatever, 10 to 15% in between there. And of course, Walling is a white guy. I mean, race always matters in local politics for sure. I don't care what anyone says, but it'll be an interesting little race, because there's like 7 or 8 different people running. Last time I checked, there's a lot of people running for mayor. So we'll see how the race develops. I'm gonna be at that debate, and I'll be reporting on what I think of the candidates. I'm pretty suspicious of all the candidates, but I think it's risky moving from this guy to anybody else, you know, because I think Darryl, or whatever his name is, he was actually on the city council, so I don't trust the city council any more than anyone else. I mean, it's kind of risky going with any other type of mayor, because, like I said, you may end up with somebody who's a lot worse. Or I don't really have a problem with this mayor. I'm not going to blame him for the problems. I think ultimately we should look at the heart of the problem, the economic issues. A lot of stuff is a lot bigger than a mayor. You know, NAFTA is a lot bigger than a mayor. And when you have the country's industrial base being depleted by made in China products, you know, it's only so much a mayor can realistically do. I'm looking for a candidate who will do less harm. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. Maybe my standards should be higher, but that's how I view it. And so far, I think there's like a Asian business guy. So I look further into him. It's terrible. I should know his name, but you know, I should read more about the candidates. But we'll see. That's why I'm going to go to this debate and hear them myself. So, do you think a mayor is responsible for a city's murder rate? I mean, ultimately, what about all these punk-ass kids we're raising around here? All these degenerates who are shooting one another, beating up and killing their wives. I mean, are you going to really blame that on mayors or even the police? You know, the police can respond to homicides, but they really can't stop anybody from killing somebody else unless they have a tip ahead of time, and that's not likely anyway. So, at some point, you have to look at the actual culture and the actual community itself before you start to throw blame at any politician, anybody. So, what can a mayor do to make the city safer? Alright guys, thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and don't forget the future belongs to those who prepare for it today. Bye.